Hello.
Hey, Nick. Thank you for
Hi.
joining us.
Good. Are we live right now or is this just like a recording?
I am recording you, and I think we're live on your channel as well. Is that correct?
We are live. I was going to ask, do you want me to stay live or do you want me to
I don't
end this?
mind either way.
All right. So it's nice to meet you now virtually.
Yeah, my name is Aaron Sokol, and my podcast is called Parsha Inspired. We do weekly, or actually daily segments on the unfolding redemption, Ezekiel 38, Ezekiel 39, Gog and Magog. So I wanted to turn the question on you. What do you think Israel's biggest failing is right now?
Man, that's quite the question. What is Israel's biggest failing? Do you mean I'm Israel or do you mean the state of Israel?
Both are good questions.
The state of Israel's biggest failing. Man, that's that's really tough to answer actually. I would say Israel needs to start to be a little bit more proactive or a lot a bit more proactive. I think there's a lot of problems that are boiling over. We've mentioned some in this podcast. PR, for example, they need to get more ahead of stuff and not be so reactive. And then you also have what's going on with the religious communities and the draft, military service. You have a lot of arguments from both sides. One side saying, we're not going to have a country if you don't fight for it, the other side saying we are fighting for it, but in our own way, and that's not military service. I'm not here to determine. I'm not here to say that I have any say in that battle. What I am here to say, though, is that there's a very clear detriment happening. When I was in Israel just a couple months ago, I see Jerusalem, which is my favorite city in the world. When I'm in Jerusalem, there's something that happens to me that I just become so calm. My wife literally says, every time we're in Jerusalem, your entire shoulders and everything relax. And it's impossible to not feel calm in Jerusalem. And I always make it a point when I get into Israel, I feel something every time I land in Israel and I'm in that Ben Gurion airport and I see that ramp. But there's something that pulls me to Jerusalem so much stronger when I'm in Israel than where I'm at right now, like California. Cause I feel like it's because I'm so close that there's something really just like I need to get to Jerusalem. I always have to go within the first day. I have to get to Jerusalem. Uh, when I see the state of Jerusalem and I see something like 30+%, I believe, of the people aren't working there. A lot of it is, I think there is something that there needs to be a balance when you see that how societies have to act in today's day and age. There has to be an economy. That's the world we live in. But then you also have to balance that with what you as an individual feel is your mission in the world. I don't know the answer. So I'm sorry to be so vague. But what I do see is that there is a balance that needs to happen. And right now it feels like that balance is not happening between the economy of specifically Jerusalem, but I guess that affects Israel as a whole, and people's beliefs and what they need to do from a religious standpoint.
Well, this argument, I agree, it's a difficult question. In fact, the prophet Ezekiel describes the sticks of Judah and Joseph coming together. Jerusalem and Tel Aviv have always been. It was just used to be called Jerusalem and Shomron. There was
Right.
the 10 tribes were exiled from the Shomron, and there was a wicked king there who built a temple there for the Baal, and for they had temple there for idol worship. And this separation within the Jews has always been it, Israel's biggest weakness, of the fact that we have both Jews are successful in many different things. There's a joke: a Jewish guy goes in with his Cadillac, he goes into the car wash, and the Gentiles over there say, "Cheap Jew, he's not going to give us a tip. He's not giving us a tip." And then at the end of the car wash, he gives $100 to each one of the guys. He says, "Damn Jews got all the money in the world." You know,
I haven't heard
you
that
know,
one before.
that
I
you know.
think that I think with disagreement between Jews, I think it depends actually. So, in terms of the splinter between Jews is as old as the Torah itself. It, I it's problematic and it leads to a lot of things in Jewish history that has led to problems. However, I also think it's where, from an outsider's perspective, it's your strength. it depends on how you guys disagree, right? Because Jewish people have been able to do wonders for the world that others have not even been able to dream of, that Jews figure out. I think a lot of that does come from the idea of disagreeing with each other because if you disagree correctly and in a proper and good faith way, disagreement is what leads us to have way more knowledge than we are even capable of. Even the smartest person disagreeing with someone that's half their intelligence will lead the smarter person to still come up with ideas that they couldn't come up with on their own. So I think it depends.
As a rabbi, I'll share with you my rabbinic idea of this is that when the Jews sold Joseph into slavery, and the brothers came and Judah came to him, and Judah was like, we sold you into slavery. He reveals himself to them. Now he's the king of Egypt. And the brothers are so ashamed. And he says, guys, don't worry. He says, "Lemichya shalchani." God sent me into exile for a reason. I'm here for a reason. I'm here to be able to provide for Egypt. And they started to provide for Egypt. And eventually, after 210 years, they became enslaved in that culture until the Mashiach or the Goel or the Redeemer, Moses, came and redeemed them and promised them this land. And from that point until today, the Jews have never successfully returned because when they tried to go in, there were still 2.5 tribes who said the tribe of God and another tribe, and the tribe of Reuben and half of the tribe of Manasseh said, we want our portion on the other side of the river. And from that point on, we have still not all returned. All the Jews have not returned. And that's kind of the return of the Jewish people to the land, as described in Ezekiel 36 and 37, is what fuels and starts Gog and Magog. When people see that these prophecies are being fulfilled, then, and I think the word Gog and Magog might be frightening to many people, but I think from a Jewish perspective, it just represents, it mentions Paras, which is Persia, which is modern day Iran. So it's clearly
Right.
mentioned it, but it just what it really represents is how do people see the return of the Jewish people to their land, and how do they see this? Do they see it through the lens of genocide, or do they see this through the lens of fulfillment of prophecy? And both of those options are available out there for anybody who wants to believe either way. I mean, while I agree with your arguments, some people
Mhm.
are not convinced. They still want to believe, because in the age of social media, you can really just believe everything. So that's what I say. That's my understanding from a rabbinic point of view. I will just caveat that there are many rabbis who would disagree with me. I'm just giving you my opinion.
Oh, really? Rabbis disagreeing with each other? I've never heard that before.
Yeah, nothing anybody rabbi tells you is absolute, except for.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
that's what makes Judaism so beautiful, because we want to have all these opinions and we want to get
So,
to the truth. And unless you let people talk, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
no, no, I'm in 100% agreement with you. I think like as an outsider, I think I can offer a unique perspective that to Jewish people that obviously Jewish people can't see because they're from inside the house. And when I look at what a lot of people, when they do appreciate Jewish people from an outside point of view, from the Gentiles, a lot of the times they appreciate, hey, Jews are very successful people. Jews are very smart. Jews create a lot of this technology and that antibiotic and this and that. And don't get me wrong, I agree with them, of course. But when I look at the Jewish people, what impresses me the most about them, the thing that separates the Jewish people from me in an incredible way is the Torah. The people will ask me, "Hey, Nick, you're what? You're like a Jewish supremacist? Why? Yeah, why do you like the Jews so much? Blah 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 blah. Why do you defend them?" And I say, it's not. I don't. I never believe that somebody is better simply because their skin color is this or that, or their name is this or that, or gender is this or that. But culture can absolutely be a benefit to the world. It could be a detriment, or it could be neutral. And the Torah and what it's done for the world is something I can't compare anything else to. And so that's what I recognize about the Jewish people. To go back to what you earlier said about should Jews do more to spread the Torah? Of course, the answer is yes. And I think that what are you doing? I think that's apparent because the Torah is something that can help anyone. And so naturally, the more the Torah spreads, the better it is for the world. And I think that's the whole reason the Torah was given to the world is because the Torah is our blueprints as mankind. It's what the world is and what the world needs to be before whatever the after is, whatever one believes. I think there is an after, regardless of who you are, and the world can't do that until the world is set up for that timeline.
I think the biggest Congress, actually the first Congress of Noahides, will be November 2nd in Israel. It'll be I think over 100 countries represented. The Rabbi Uri Shirky is the person running it. I think his name is. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, a lot of people have been telling me they're like, Nick, you're the most famous Noahide in the world. You need to come to this November 2nd. Yeah, I'm trying to. It's just a little tough. I missed your podcast.
Mount and when I go up on the roof with people, with guests, and we look down at the Temple Mount, I'm reminded of 1967 when MATAU went up there and he said, the Temple Mount's in our hand, and the Jews are afraid of redemption. Ezekiel 40 through 48 is the blueprints of the third temple. Anybody, Bible.
You know what I mean? Like that person would be included. That thing, that action, that event would be included. Strength. So if it gives me strength, there must be something to it. Is to truly trust in God. Wants, not a prophet, not anyone who has dreams or anything. I don't believe that God gives us what we need. Or let me rephrase that. God doesn't do for us what we need to do, but God gives us what we need so we can do it ourselves. And I think a lot of people sometimes need to stop waiting for God to just do it for us and realize that God has already given us everything we need. It's just about knowing how to use those tools. And with that, that's I think that will apply to Israel as a state. It will apply to Israel as Am Yisrael, and it'll even apply to the Gentiles and the Noahides around the world.
Okay, Nick, thank you so much. It's amazing what chicken soup could do. You definitely look like you're feeling much better now.
I do feel a
So
little bit better. Yeah.
thank you so much for taking your time. I really appreciate it. And shalom from the holy city of Beit Shemesh.
Shalom. Shalom. Thank you.